This video is a little bit different than my usual videos, but it's still business related, online business related. I want to talk about how to blow up as a musician, as a rapper online, and I want to give specific examples. I want to show how Lil Dicky, how Russ, how who else? Lil Nas X, and how Cody. He's not necessarily a musician, but he's had a song recently that's super blown up. So I want to go through because there's very specific strategy behind each of these blowups. Like, honestly, it seems to us like people just kind of pop off, but I don't think that really happens. Like, maybe in the early days of social media and stuff that kind of happened, but I'm pretty sure almost always right now there's, if not always, there's legit strategies happening behind the scenes that get these people to the point where they look like they blew up in one day. But so I want to walk through each of these strategies, each of the strategies that each of these people used to blow up. And the reason I want to do that is because they can be duplicated easily. In fact, not only duplicated, but it's just the way that people should approach getting their music out there, promoting their music and becoming a professional musician or rapper, whatever it may be. And so right off the bat, very first thing, you've got to have good music. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Let's just make that very straightforward. You have to make good music. Moving on. After you've made good music, the trick is, and this is where each of these rappers really figured out how to do this, and this is what blew them up. But your distribution is everything. Oh, and by the way, I'm not talking about like finding a label or nothing like that. Like, personally, I think going that route is silly. This isn't about how to go find a label or a contract deal or anything like that. This is for you on your own grind, owning everything yourself and building it all yourself. Because that's the kind of, that's what the internet allows us to do right now, which is incredible to be able to actually do that on your own. And the fact that I even just said the word distribution is a little nuts, because if you go back 10, 15 years ago, the only option you had for distribution was a label. But that's not the case, and in fact, that's probably even the that's just not the kind of distribution you really want to do these days. Obviously, labels still have amazing distribution, but I mean, each one of these people, Lil Dicky, Russ, great examples of independent artists doing their own distribution and blowing up off of their own distribution, which, by the way, is completely free. You don't have to sign any profit splits or I guess lots of music contracts aren't even profit splits. They're just like, hey, we'll pay you this much. Anyways, let's get into this. This is for if you're promoting music on your own, and each one of these guys did it on their own and blew up on their own. So let's dive into it.
But so from 2011 to 2014, I put out 11 projects, and I'm broke, and I'm not successful. I have 1,000.
2011 to 2014, that's 3 years, maybe a little more than 3 years. He said he put out 11 projects, and he's got basically nothing. He's broke. He's got only 1,000 followers, so he's still pretty much just at zero. So he's, for multiple years now, been making several attempts, no luck.
Followers, and I'm like, all right, well, at a certain point, you got to look at yourself and be like, maybe it's me.
Questioning himself.
I'm saying? So I'm like, all right. I'm like, nah, the music, I was always confident in the music. I started questioning the approach. And so I started looking at that time, SoundCloud was still, to me at least, it was new. And I was like, man.
We're in 2014.
2014. This is fall 2014. So I started looking at SoundCloud, and I'm looking at plays, and I'm noticing that the most amount of plays on every artist.
Let's pause right here before he really gets into the nitty gritty. What was he doing up until this point? He had picked his distribution platform as SoundCloud, and now he was studying that platform, studying it, figuring out like, okay, like what's going on here, what's working for other people, what's not working, what's going on with my stuff, and he's analyzing and studying the platform to figure out what's the best way to do his distribution on that platform.
And I'm noticing that the most amount of plays on every artist's SoundCloud when it comes to them dropping an album, it was the first song, or it was a big.
All right, so he just said that so as he's studying, he's looking at people's albums that they've dropped, and he's noticing that their first song, their top song that sits at the very top of the list, is the one that gets the most plays.
Feature, but mainly the first song. and then it would tail off. So I was like, oh, what this tells me about consumer behavior is that everyone is down to listen to one song. It's just that second song, we're out.
Yeah.
You know? So I was like, okay, what if I just drop one song albums every week? Because I'm dropping 3.
And there it is. He looks at that and goes, okay, so it's really just that one top song that's getting listens. I think I said views earlier. We're talking about a song here. So listens. He's noticing that that's just the top song that gets the listens. So now he's going to a strategy of, all right, so what if instead of spending all this time and effort to drop a full album and only the top ones getting listens, what if I just drop the top ones and see how that goes?
3 albums a year. Let's call it 14 songs, 3 albums a year, right? What is that, 42 songs a year?
That works smarter.
So I was like, okay, I don't have to change up how much I'm working or even increase how much I'm working. I just have to distribute it differently. So I was like, instead of putting out, 42 songs a year, 52 songs a year over the course of 4 albums, I'll put out 52 songs a year over the course of week by week basis. Because no one's trying to listen to an album that
So what he just did there is he took, like he said, he's got 44 songs, and instead of dropping all of those across maybe 3 or 4 times throughout the year, he's saying, what if I take each one of those songs and drop it on its own and do that once a week? So what he just created is, instead of 3 or 4 chances of blowing up, he's now created 44 chances of blowing up. That's that, and like he said, it was a switch, a change in distribution, and that's what that's what made all the difference for him.
from someone no one's ever heard of, but y'all are down to listen to the first song. So I was like, cool, I'll do a song every week until I
will
blew
trick
up.
the system for a year.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put out a song a week until I blew up. Now,
brave approach.
It was, but like at that point, this is 11 albums of failure.
But that's why I'm saying brave approach, because 11 albums of failure. I don't know if I feel like making a song every week now for y'all.
Right.
Y'all better go hear this.
Great point right there. He didn't give up.
Right. Well, that was the. I agree, and that's the intrinsic just thing that exists in you, or it doesn't. Where it's like, when you start thinking, that's what I'm saying. There's such a chip on my shoulder where it's like, y'all, I don't care if I put out 11 albums. Y'all are bugging. I'm ill, right?
Yeah.
So I had to proving y'all wrong. I had to prove to myself that I was right about doing this music, So now, but I also I strategized this because I was like, I'm not about to just put out a song a week and be scrambling every day to record a song. I was like,
because you're still broke.
Still broke. So I was like, let me go away for a second, 4 months as far as putting out music. Let me stock up on 26 songs, which is half a year. And let me also have an album, a very rough skeleton of an album that I'm working on, because I also knew, I believe so wholeheartedly.
Okay, before he gets to this next point, so what he just said there is, okay, so he's decided he's going to drop one a week. Now he decided, okay, I don't want to have to be killing myself on that one song and trying to get it up every week. So he took kind of a hiatus, 4 months hiatus, and said, like, I'm not going to upload for 4 months. I'm going to go stock up songs for 4 months. And so I have them sitting there and I can just drop those every week after week. He picked his platform. He studied that platform. He found a smarter way to distribute content according to how the end consumer was behaving. And then he prepared himself even further for, okay, once that strategy works, I've got the album sitting and waiting for him. All right, now let's move on to this video where Kevin Aloka talks about Lil Nas X and how Lil Nas X blew up. And this one actually surprised me a lot. Honestly, I was looking at Lil Nas X kind of like, oh, he just kind of popped off. But that's actually not the case. He was strategizing behind the scenes and working on his strategy and his distribution of his music. So let's watch this.
You want to talk about flavor of the month, Lil Nas X, and Old Town Road?
Of course.
And he came to the office, and I got to chat with him for a little bit about the
Process.
road to getting that thing to where it was. He's like, it was just so intuitive. Like, he just like, yeah, I made 50 memes with the song in the background. A bunch of them blew up, and now I have a hit single. Like,
That's it. He made 50 memes, which is smart. Memes are can reach a lot of people if it's a funny meme that blows up. And so he made 50 of them. 50. to 50 attempts at this, put his song behind them, which is very, very, like, that's and we'll see this more in my last example here, but putting your song behind things that get seen a lot can blow up your song. And that's what happened. He created 50 memes, he put his song behind all of them and got some of those memes to blow up, and then Old Town Road just took off. This is Cody Ko. Now, Cody Ko's not necessarily a musician, and he already did have a big following to start, but there's a part of his distribution strategy here that's really smart, and I don't think a lot of people know about, so I want to share it with you. But this song here, you've probably heard it. Alright, that one right there. So obviously he has his YouTube channel here, 3.5 million subscribers. That's obviously going to help a lot. But another strategy that he did, and this isn't just specific to him, I've seen a lot of other people doing this, is putting their song on TikTok. Now, if you're familiar with TikTok or not, you can choose a sound to put behind your videos. And so what Cody did, and or I guess his rap group or whatever, and then what other artists have done that have blown up on TikTok as well, is they make their song. It's obviously got to be a good song, and this one is. It's well done, it's catchy, and you take your song and you have a bunch of big TikTokers use that sound behind their videos.
We ain't good. I'm a fat man. Feeding chewing drugs like Pac-Man.
So just like how Lil Nas X took his song and put it behind memes and got those memes to go everywhere, this strategy is taking your song and putting it behind TikToks, getting big TikTokers to take your song and put it behind their TikToks, so that that song is blasted out to tons and tons of people. So if you think about it, if you get, I don't know, a handful or two of TikTokers that have hundreds of thousands or millions of followers, and you have them make a video with your song behind it, well, your song just instantly hit the ears of hundreds of thousands and millions of people. And that's just because of distribution.
I'm ready. Like, it's been like, it's the biggest day of my life. I'm so excited. I'm finally putting stuff online. And the video I put online the first day gets 1 million views in the first day.
Now, how did that happen, Lil Dicky? Because a lot of people, you know what I mean? Some raised eyebrows.
Okay, video, right? So there's one clue so far is he used the video, he put it on YouTube, and it got 1 million views in the first day. This guy's asking how, which is a really good question. Let's listen.
Crowds out there, like, how does this new guy with no following, with his very minimal fan base, get 1 million views in a day?
Well, I would say if I were to point at one thing, like, do you know what Reddit is?
Yeah.
So it just made it to the front page of Reddit at like 2 p.m. East Coast time, like, prime time, and like there's just like millions of people like looking at that.
Absolutely.
So that contributing with, like, I think there was a benefit to, like, who the hell is this guy? It's out of nowhere type thing. And I don't know if you've seen the video, Ex-Boyfriend. It's like, it's a very...
All right, so I mean that's pretty much everything so far. He created a video. So first, like, there was a good song, and then he made a good video, and then he posted that video to YouTube and Reddit, and it made it to the front page of Reddit, like he said, and it got a ton of eyes on it and just super blew up within one day. So that was his distribution, was YouTube and Reddit, and then his music and his video were good enough that people really latched onto it.
So all these things kind of like worked in
Everything
my favor.
worked together.
I mean, totally lucky. Like, day one, there was no like media behind it. I posted it on my Facebook wall and I was like, friends, if you like it, please share.
Facebook also.
Was it everybody who went to your bar mitzvah? Is that what it was?
There was a lot of bar mitzvah attendees. It was, I went to overnight camp. I went to college. So it was like a lot of different networks of people that I had met, and they all really liked the video. And then it's like a very spreadable video.
True indeed.
Yeah.
True
What was the
indeed.
tagline?
That part was really important. He said it was a very spreadable, very shareable video. It's obviously very important, and that's definitely, like, if you want to blow up as a musician, as a rapper, that's something you should probably even be thinking of when you're ideating, or maybe you want to be thinking of when you're ideating your song, your video. Is this shareable? Will people watch this and want to share it and pass it around? If not, maybe try something else to be that piece that gets the blow up going for you. But that was like very important. He made a good song, good video, put it on YouTube and Reddit. He said on Facebook, but it kind of sounds like it was more just YouTube and Reddit. And he made sure that it was a shareable piece of content. So there's 4 perfect examples of how important distribution is to blowing up and getting your music heard and becoming a musician or rapper. You could have the greatest song in the world, but if you can't get enough people to hear it, it's not going to blow up. So you've got to really consider what platform or which platforms are you going to use to distribute your music, and then you need to study those platforms and figure out what's the best strategy to distribute your music on those platforms.